CAAP-FICG flight operations missions nationwide amounting to 127,050,000 pesos, an FICG project. So who will be presenting this?
This will be presented, sir, by
Operations mission.
Captain
Nationwide.
Morico from the FICG, sir.
Yeah, let's proceed, please.
Yes, sir. We'll just pull up the presentation. Thank you. Okay, sir. So is the presentation visible to everyone, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the proposed bidding document for the lease of aircraft for CAAP-FICG flight operation mission nationwide. This is supposed to cover the flight inspection missions for the year 2022. So we are using the new Philippine Bidding Document 6th edition issued on July 2020. We'll just go to the important provisions, and we'd like to request the assistance of the BAC Secretariat and TWG. We'll just note down the dates that we will arrive at, and we will just edit the final document later. So allow us to proceed with the invitation to bid. So in the invitation to bid, sir, we indicated the title of the project. This is for the lease of aircraft for CAAP-FICG flight operation mission nationwide. And we'd like to request for the project identification number that will be assigned for this one. Or shall we just turn over the final edited document to the BAC Secretariat, and then they will be the one to provide this number?
Mr. Chair, if I may. Sir, it will be Mr. Sunny Villabert from the BAC Secretariat who will be assigning the project identification number, sir.
Okay, Madam, I will acknowledge that it will be provided by the Mr. Sunny Villabert of the BAC Secretariat. So this bid is for the is necessary for the conduct of flight inspection, calibration, validation of CNS ATM systems and facilities nationwide, and also the aerial inspection of Philippine aerodromes. In the invitation to bid, we expanded the period of the experience requirement. So the bidder should have completed within the last 10 years from the date of submission and receipt of these bids at least 2 projects similar or 2 contracts similar to this project. For item number 5 of the invitation to bid, we'll just pass this on to the Secretariat also. The schedule of the of obtaining further information, availability of the documents, the cost of the documents, and the manner by which the bid documents will be submitted. As well as the schedule of the pre-bid conference and the deadline of submission. The date of the bid opening, we'll pass this on to the Secretariat also, and such other necessary information. Okay. Up to the websites to download the bidding documents. Any question po so far? So again, the procuring entity is the CAAP. Project is lease of aircraft for CAAP-FICG flight operation mission nationwide. The source of funding is the corporate operating budget for fiscal year 2022. Project amount is 127,050,000 for the whole year. No special requirement for the bidding requirement. No special provision for item number 4 also. Item number 5. Because of the limited service provider we have, okay, we suggested that we expand the latitude of the eligible bidders. It's very seldom that a prospective bidder is able to have a government contract na masyadong malaki as big as ours, because our project is basically an operation that requires special equipment. So if it's just ordinary lease contract, mas marami tayong ma-encourage na mag-participate. However, the amount should be lower. That's why under eligible bidders in item number 5, we suggested that the bidder shall have completed at least 2. Okay. And the aggregate amount is only 25% of the ABC. And the largest of this contract shall be at least half of the percentage of the ABC required. So in figures, our prospective bidder should have at least 2 or more contracts amounting to 31.76 million. And the single largest contract should be equal to 15.88 million at least. We have no restriction on the origin of goods. However, we do not subscribe to subcontracting. The schedule of the pre-bid conference will be as scheduled by the BAC Secretariat. Okay. Clarifications, we will be readily answer clarifications later. And I believe other provisions in the instruction to bidders are just generic provisions of the bid documents. And also the bid security, we recommend that it be valid for 120 days from opening of bids. Just in case we need to move from one bidder to the next. Number 19 of the instruction to bidders, also generic provisions. As well as number 20 and number 21. Okay, so that covers instruction to bidders po. If there's no more question, we'll continue with the bid data sheet. So for the bid data sheet under ITB clause 5.3, we defined that the similar contracts completed by the bidder, aggregate amount of which should be equivalent to 25% of the ABC for this project. And for this purpose, contracts similar to the project refer to lease of aircraft to a government entity, and such contract must have been completed within the 10-year period prior to the deadline of submission and receipt of bids. Under ITB clause 10.1, we'll just reiterate the eligibility and technical documents. So the legal documents, they need a valid field jobs registration certificate or an SEC certificate or a mayor's or business permit and tax clearance. We also included a circular from the GPPB as an option to the bidder. For the technical documents, we shall be requiring the same items in the generic bidding document. So they will need a statement of ongoing government and private contracts, statement of the bidder's SLCC, the project requirements, which include the conformity to the technical specifications, the delivery schedule, and the list of the bidder's major equipment. In this case, the major equipment we refer to is in the latter part of this bid data sheet and also in the special conditions of contract. Primarily, we are referring to a jet aircraft, a flight inspection system, and a pressurized turboprop aircraft. These are the major equipment that has to be provided by the supplier. So to continue with the technical documents, we'll also require the omnibus warrant statement, a certification that they have no pending case against the government, a legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP-FICG, and such other bid bulletins that we may later promulgate as applicable. For the financial documents, these are also generic requirements of the bid doc. So we have the bidder's audited financial statement and computation of the net financial contracting capacity of the bidder. In anticipation of a probable joint venture among the bidders, we also have a duly signed joint venture agreement among the required documents, duly notarized. And we have two standard forms which we are going to propose that shall be included in these bidding documents. So, clause 11.11, the second envelope shall contain the financial bid form and the price schedule. The price schedule will be included in the standard form. Clause 11.3, bids exceeding the ABC shall be disqualified. Clause 12, would be quoted in shall be quoted DDP Philippines. Although this is of course a local procurement. As for the bid security, we computed 2.541 million at 2% of the ABC if the bid security is in cash, and 6,352,500 pesos or 5% of the ABC if the bid security is in surety bond. Under clause 20.2, the bidder should be a valid air operator certificate holder. If he is not a certified air operator certificate holder, they shall be automatically disqualified. Under the contract, in clause 21.2, the CAAP approved technical specifications, which is part of this bid document, shall be an integral and separable part of the contract. In the contract itself, once the notice of award has been issued, we are proposing that we will have to verify the capability and availability of the aircraft and the FIS. Okay. Just to make sure that the equipment and the aircraft shall be available for CAAP 15 days after the issuance of the notice to proceed. Otherwise, since the lease contract has already been signed, the CAAP has the option to cancel the contract and forfeit the performance security in favor of the CAAP. We proposed only 15 days because even at present, we are already behind our flight inspection schedule for the year. So time is of the essence for us. That's why we only limited this period from notice to proceed to first utilization to 15 days. So that covers the bid data sheet. May questions po? wala na. We'll continue with the special conditions of the contract. So under clause 1 of the GCC, the delivery shall be made by the service provider in accordance with our annual flight inspection schedule in the technical specifications. We will present this full schedule in the when we get to the technical specifications. Okay. What we will do is we will communicate a monthly schedule approved by the CAAP, and then every week we will do a coordination memo with the service provider just to make sure that the aircraft to be used is available. Assuming that the bidder does not yet have the aircraft or the FIS on hand, we just need to make sure that there is an existing agreement that the FIS and the aircraft shall be available for use by the CAAP 15 days after the issuance of the notice to proceed. Otherwise, we propose to be forfeited in favor of the CAAP. The minimum major equipment required will be one jet aircraft, which shall be used for nav-aids, flight inspection, and aerial inspection of aerodromes. The flight inspection system, which is used only for navigational aids and surveillance facilities inspection. And the pressurized turboprop, which we will use for visual aids flight inspection. And flight validation of instrument flight procedures. We propose that the two primary and all substitute aircraft should be clearly identified in the forms and in the contract. As to incidental services, all of the services should be included in the, it cannot be provided as a separate cost because what is important to the CAAP is the availability of the aircraft. And all these incidental services can only be delivered by the supplier or the winning bidder. So, included in the incidental services are all logistical requirements involved in aircraft and flight operations, such as but not limited to aircraft maintenance, airworthiness release, flight planning, flight dispatch, flight follow, hangar age and parking, entry and exit and overflight permits when applicable, customs, immigration, and quarantine coordination when applicable. All of these should be at the expense of the supplier. The tools also to be used for any activity on the aircraft, whether it's for maintenance of the aircraft or the maintenance of the flight inspection system, should be provided by the service provider or the winning bidder. Operations and maintenance manuals shall also be provided by the supplier. The performance or supervision or maintenance and repair of the goods or rather the equipment shall be provided by the supplier for as long as it does not affect the CAAP's flight inspection schedule. The type of equipment to be provided will depend on the supplier. Therefore, the training in the operation of the aircraft and the flight inspection system should also be borne by the supplier because the equipment will be provided by them anyway. So, trainings of the procuring entities should be at the expense of the procuring entity, or rather at the expense of the service provider. And the update and calibration of the FIS, flight inspection system, navigational equipment, and the FMS database should be at the cost of the service provider. The equipment does not belong to the CAAP, so even the spare part shall be at the cost of the service provider. In terms of payment, the TOR provides for that the CAAP may accommodate monthly billings, okay? And this will contain the total number of hours used for the month. Therefore, in the price schedule, not only will the total amount be indicated by the bidder, but also the hourly rate for each type of aircraft. So this will be different rates because in the case of the jet, if the jet is fitted with a flight inspection system, it will have a different cost compared to using the jet only without the FIS. And also, the turboprop aircraft being operated at a cheaper rate should also have a lower cost compared to the jets. In our TOR, we adopted the retention requirement under RA 9184. This is because in the course of the contract, there are still some things that some items that the supplier will have to comply, such as trainings, the periodic maintenance of the equipment. Without these trainings and periodic maintenance, we will not be able to efficiently conduct the flight inspection. So just to make sure that they really comply with these provisions for trainings and maintenance, we have provided for the retention of a certain amount of the money that is due to the supplier. Okay. However, if these items, the training and the maintenance are religiously followed by the supplier, then the CAAP may have an option to just waive the retention of the money. In the implementation of the project, The FIS and the FMS, which are the essential equipment on board the aircraft when conducting flight inspection, will have to be tested by our flight inspectors prior to departure. So, the day before, this aircraft should be prepositioned at the CAAP hangar for purpose of inspection and testing. In case that any discrepancy is found during the testing or the pre-flight inspection, okay, the service provider has a maximum of 2 days to resolve the issue or provide a replacement aircraft without incurring any delay. If these 2 days is consumed and the issues have not been resolved, okay, we propose that liquidated damages should be applied that is equal to 1/10 of 1% of the cost of the unperformed flight mission for every day of the delay. This unperformed flight mission will be the mission that we coordinated with the service provider for the week. So, yun lang po yung special conditions of the contract. May question po ba so far?
Question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Sir Morico, in the application of liquidated damages, you said that for a weekly performance that has not been performed, i-apply natin yung liquidated damages. No. But what if after a week meron na ulit ng performance? So how will we compute the liquidated damages? But kasi in the case of project implementation, we apply the liquidated damages after the completion of the duration of the entire project. In your case, are you applying the LD bi-weekly or you need to complete the entire duration of the project before applying the liquidated damages?
What we will propose, sir, is that we apply it weekly. The aircraft is already available regardless of the subsequent check that we are going to do. Dun lang natin i-apply sa number of days na yon yung liquidated damages. And also, in the case of Manila, let's say that for Manila, we allowed 10 hours using a jet aircraft. So that is about based on our purchase request, that is about equivalent to 2.5 million. Yun lang, sir, yung doon lang natin i-apply yung 0.001 sa 2.5, yung sa Manila.
So yung computation natin doon lang sa specific
it may not necessarily be Manila,
the entire,
maybe another station.
cost of the project. What if tumawid sa another week na hindi pa nagagawa yung previous one?
Bali, na, sir, it doesn't matter kung ano na yung susunod na yung susunod na i-check. Kasi we have to arrange first naman with Manila International Airport. Kailan uli kami mag-check sa kanila eh. So, pag nalagpasan namin yung lang natin na may aircraft na na-available.
Kasi ang worry ko lang, what if maging domino effect yung unavailability ng aircraft, tapos lumipat siya dun sa sunod na mga schedules nyo, then the computation of the liquidated damages will not be limited to the week that the aircraft is not available. So yung susunod na naman na baka wala na naman siya ulit So meron na naman corresponding cost doon. So yun lang ang gusto kong ma-clarify on how to compute the corresponding liquidated damages.
Yes, sir. We agree with you on that, sir. Actually nga, naisip din namin na what happens if yung delay does not only last for a day or two.
Yeah.
So, siguro hingi na lang kami, sir, ng guidance sa BAC kung paano tayo kung paano namin mai-include yun dito under the definition ng delay. Kasi ang consider lang talaga namin is assuming na hindi natuloy ngayon pero matutuloy next week. Ganun lang.
Yes.
Pwede kami, sir, humingi ng guidance from the Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, also, if I may, just a follow-up question on the inquiry of Sir Arnel. Sir, how many delays shall it incur, sir? Are we going to just impose this liquidated damages, sir, or are we going to can we terminate the contract with them just in case there will be non-performance? I mean, how many delays, or are we just going to impose these liquidated damages? Captain Randy?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, yung question ko po is mag-i-impose lang ba tayo ng liquidated damages for every unperformed flight missions? Or can we sever the contract between CAAP and the winning bidder just in case nagkaroon na ng maraming times na nagkaroon ng non-performance, I mean?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. Is that so far yung experience namin with our previous service provider, whenever hindi available yung primary aircraft for whatever reason, they are able to provide a replacement aircraft. But when it comes to let's say magkaroon ng total failure na to implement the contract, we do not really have an idea kung paano yan natin ma-terminate basta-basta. And besides, yung flight inspection system kasi mismo, talagang hindi ito locally available, bibilhin ito from abroad. Hindi tayo ganun, hindi siguro ganun kabilis makahanap ng service provider capable of that, unless na magko-contract tayo with a foreign flight inspection unit. Yan lang po.
Captain Randy,
Yes, sir.
I observed that halimbawa yung delay for the performance of the flight inspection is being considered for the scheduled week, di ba? So, parang yung nangyayari sa temporary delay lang yun. So, the service provider can cope up with the delay by doubling their performance for the following weeks. Parang in case sa project na hindi siya na-perform, pwede siyang ma-recover sa future schedules.
Yes, sir. Oo. Actually, yung air office mo, pinapagamit lang nila sa atin. So, ang nangyayari niyan, yung mga tao mismo natin ang make up for the lost time. So, let's say, going back to Manila, let's say ngayong week hindi namin na-check yung Manila. Kaso, next week, nakaschedule na yung, let's say, Mactan. Ang gagawin namin yan is, pag na-coordinate na yung Mactan with the service provider and with the airport and with the air traffic control, itutuloy namin muna yung Mactan. Pag meron pang natitirang available na working days, saka namin binabalikan yung Manila. So, yung service provider natin, hindi actually siya naka-tie up doon sa overall schedule ng CAAP. Naka-tie up lang siya doon sa weekly schedule na i-request natin sa kanya.
Yung availability ng equipment sa aircraft.
So, yun naman siguro sir, ang pinaka-safeguard lang namin ito is pag na-delay siya by by days, liquidated damages lang. And then, if the delay is more than 2 days, obligado na siyang mag-provide ng replacement aircraft. Yun lang yung namin so far.
Sir, if I may, sir, can we also just include in the technical specifications, sir, since you included the primary aircrafts that they will be providing, can the service provider also provide the list of the substitute aircraft?
Yes, ma'am. We also, we already, we also included that in the, I think it's here in the special conditions. Let me just, hanapin ko lang po. Ito po. Okay. So, we included that the two primary and all substitute aircraft shall be identified and its utilization and cost shall be specified in the contract. So, once na nag-enter na tayo into contract with the supplier, dapat kasama yung substitute aircraft nila. Saka dapat specific rin yung aircraft na ipapagamit nila.
Captain Ras, Gary, if I may.
Sir, yes, sir, Gary.
Ano ko lang, i-clarify ko lang kasi nakalagay dito is two primary and all substitute aircraft. Masyadong
Okay. Ganito kasi sir yung nangyayari as of now. Yung mga supplier namin, pinapagamit tayo ng isang Learjet na may naka-install na flight inspection system. Okay? If the mission is only aerial inspection ng aerodrome, hindi nila tayo sinisingil for the onboard flight inspection system, kaya cheaper ang singil nila sa atin. However, there are times na out yung Learjet, pero since ang mission is still aerodrome inspection, ang pinapagamit nila is yung Gulfstream 150. At ang rate nito ay kapareho nung jet aircraft without FIS. So, ganun sir. Lumalabas ngayon, ang substitute aircraft, hindi lang Learjet din, kundi may additional pa na Gulfstream. Tapos dito naman sir dito naman sa pressurized turboprop, nagkaroon din kami ng instance na dati ang ginagamit natin is King Air. So, pag humingi tayo ng substitute aircraft, more probably King Air din yung dapat na ibigay nila. However, may mga dumating na ngayon na panibagong eroplano na pressurized din pero single engine lang siya. Which can also perform the same with the same kind of job. Kaya lang it may be owned by a different private company na kailangan lang nilang kunin as part of the parang part of the additional fleet nila, just to be able to comply with dito sa requirement natin na 2 primary aircraft and may substitute aircraft din sila. So yun lang naman sir ang dyan, ang kailangan naming ang gusto namin na i-indicate nila kung alin yung primary at yung substitute aircraft kung para saan siya isa-substitute. Kaya maaring more than 2 ang substitute aircraft natin. Yan lang, sir.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
To the chair, question. Chair Rani. Given yung mga aircraft na gagamitin, yung na-identify nyo, hindi ba magkakaroon ng dilemma yung bidder given that the aircraft identified is di siya masyado specified? Yung bang mga aircraft na jet, wala bang variation sa in terms of yung rental or yung usage yung consumption ng mga gas or whatever fuels na ginagamit nila, wherein it will affect the cost that the bidder will offer kung very broad yung nakalagay nating aircraft?
Yes sir, we agree. However, pwede sir advance muna ako dun sa technical specifications kasi naandun kasi yung sa aeroplano natin. Okay. Okay. So, ang ginawa namin sir is that in the technical specifications, totoo yun, medyo marami silang pwedeng option. However, ilinagay lang natin kung ano yung required talaga natin, which is the minimum na specifications na mamimit naman ng maraming klaseng aeroplano. So in the case of the flight inspection of radio nav aids, the aircraft should be of reasonably wide speed range. 1,000 feet above mean sea level ang minimum altitude niya. As well as high altitude flights at flight level 350. So for this, nagbigay na kami ng several examples. Yung Citation CJs, Gulfstream 150 Learjets, yung PC-24 sa Challengers. Ipinapaubaya na namin sa
Bidder.
Sa mananalong bidder kung alin ang option nila na aircraft. Kasi it's true na iba-iba nga talaga ang rate of consumption nito. Itong mga ano na to, itong mga eroplano na to. Pero wala kasi tayong data para sa bagay na yan may papaubaya lang natin yan. Depende na lang sa computation ng aircraft owner mismo. And then also, even yung FIS natin, sir, i-provide natin doon na na generic, wala siyang specific na brand. Kasi maraming nagma-manufacture ng flight inspection system na yan.
Okay.
Although, iba-ibang bansa talaga siya. And then also, may mga in-indicate lang kami doon ng mga minimums like minimum flight management system niya, minimum equipment niya to coordinate with the flight inspection engineer na nasa cabin, minimum endurance, and yung minimum environmental requirement. So, lahat naman ito, sir, is minimum requirement na ilinagay natin. Kung kaya ng operating cost nila, na ang gagamitin is yung mas makonsumo na aircraft, then I think it's okay na sumali din sila. Pero kung hindi naman pala kaya ng operating cost nila yung sa budget natin, at nagkataon na wala talagang mananalo later, siguro sa palang tayo pwedeng mag-adjust ng cost na ma-accommodate natin yung bigger aircraft na may bigger operating cost. Yun lang, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Captain Marco, are you done with your presentation or meron pa?
Meron pa, sir.
Okay, if there's no more questions, let's proceed, please. We can always go back to this later on.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So, after ng delay, we go now to the schedule of the delivery. Okay, the delivery that we propose, the jet aircraft and the turboprop aircraft should both be available 15 days after the issuance of the notice to proceed. The type rating for the jet and the turboprop consists of 2 lots, and this should be done within 30 days after the issuance of the NTP. Just as the flight inspection system training, within 30 days din from the issuance of the NTP, we are forced to give a longer allowance for this training because yung present na situation ngayon, we cannot just send our personnel to travel kung saang facility, and also kung dito man i-conduct yung training, hindi rin ganun kadali na i-coordinate yung pagpunta dito ng training officer from abroad. So, provide na namin ito ng konting leeway na 30 days. And the flight inspection system will have to be calibrated every 90 days. So, that will be 4 lots for the whole year. Ang nagka-calibrate po nito is yung manufacturer mismo. And also, the FMS update has to be conducted after every 90 days just to make sure na lahat ng instrument flight procedures na nasa aeroplano, nakaload sa database ng aeroplano is already current. So, yung technical specifications po, these are just generic specifications, and basically it covers calendar year 2022. Okay. So, this is the purpose of the flight inspection. This is the mandate. These are the regulations that we are observing while we are conducting the flight inspection. Okay. This is the authority of the flight inspection group, as well as the responsibility of the FICG based on the ICAO manuals and FAA manuals that we are following. So the objective of the program is that to perform the flight inspection in accordance with our obligations of maintaining our communication, navigation, and surveillance facilities, as well as our instrument flight network. We have the annual schedule in section or in appendix A and B, which we shall show later. The purpose of the aircraft is for the multi-engine jet. Okay. Should be a category C classification. This refers to the aircraft speed used for radio navigation and radio navigational aids flight check, and another aircraft for category B classification for visual aids and flight validation. These are the equipment that we need to check. And the specific aircraft operation requirements. As well as the requirements of the FIS. Okay. As ang nabanggit namin kanina regarding the flexibility, replacement of the aircraft, okay, the cost rate of the aircraft lease shall be specific to the aircraft type. So, in case we need to change the schedule for the year, hindi apektado yung costing natin. And also, if we are provided with an aircraft with an FIS, but the FIS will not be used, okay, during the activity, the cost should be reduced accordingly. Okay. So we are proposing a contract period for the year 2022, and this includes 263 hours of block time for a jet aircraft with an FIS, 306 hours of block time for a turboprop aircraft for visual aids check, and 70 hours of block time for aerodrome check. Okay. However, all of these quantities, yung number of hours, okay, it may increase, it may reduce, depending on how complex is the check going to be.
Sir, pwede magtanong dyan? To the chair.